friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will learn how to draw the neck in between. The neck in between was nothing, it's a small dotted line repeated one after the another. So the first step that we need to draw a line in between. So I used a command called line x 1 y1 x2 and y2, and we have to write it after the background line that is inside the function draw. And when we will run the code, we can see the line on the canvas. So the meaning of first number and the second numbers are the starting points, that is the x1 and y1. The x-axis value is 0 and the y-axis value is also 0. And the last two numbers are representing the ending of x position and y position of the line. But we want our line to be straight, starting from the top, crossing through the center and to the end. So we need to change our parameters number of our line function. If I want my line to start here, the x-axis value will be the center of the canvas, that would be 200, and my y-axis will be 0. As I want a straight line which is right here, my x-axis will still remain 200. And my y-axis would be 400. Now, when I reset and run the game, you will be able to see the difference. And again, if you notice, we don't want a continuous line as our neck. Instead, we want a small dotted lines with space in between. So, let me cut short this huge line into small ones. By changing its y-axis value into 10. Now all of you can see the small line. Now I want my next line to be drawn after leaving a gap of 10 pixels, as I want to leave 10 pixels gap and then start my next line. My x-axis will still remain 200 because I don't want my line to divert to the left or the right. It should be a straight line, so my x-axis will still remain 200 and the starting y-axis will be 20 because my last line ends at 10 and I am trying with gap of 10 pixels and then start the next line. If it starts with 20, it would end on 230. Now you can see that there are two lines. Now I am going to draw one more line just to make here of how there is a difference between each line, and I am pretty sure you guessed the value already. So third line value will be 240, 250. Now when I reset and run, you will able to see all the three lines. So now I am going to show you a new thing. That is how we are easily created a neckline without repeat the line command. We are going to be using a for loop to draw the line. So before we understand the for loop, there are three primary things which we will need to design for loop. First, we need to understand which one is changing the variable. It's y1 and y2. But if you look closely, y2, which is the ending y-axis, is predominantly dependent on the starting y-axis. So, the first y-axis is 0, the second y2 is nothing but 0 plus 10, the second line y1 is 20. I can rewrite 30 as 20 plus 10. My third line y1 is 30. So I can rewrite 50 as 40 plus 10. So from this trick is concluded that our y1, as we want to draw a line from the top of the y-axis from here to the ending of y-axis. In that case, I think the starting value will be 0 and the ending value will be 400. Then you need to declare the variable that is going to substitute your y1 value. So I am going to write for var I equals to 0 semicolon I is greater than 400 semicolon I equals to I plus 20 curly bracket open. Then we are going to put a line in the for loop, that is line 200i plus 10. Then I will run the code and then you will see the dotted line. Then I am going to show you how to move the paddles with the help of keyboard. So for moving the paddles, I use the condition called if. So I will write it like this. Inside the function draw, if key down, you will have to write key down and give the key name which you will like to moving to upwards. You can also give up also. So then clear paddle dot y means we want to move our paddles in upwards and downwards. So that's why we are giving the y position, and if we give -2 means a negative number, then it should goes upwards. And here is also same. The meaning of +2 is if we want to move our player paddle to downwards, we have to give a positive number. Then I'm going to run the code, and now you can see it's working. But first we have to remove those lines from moving the computer paddle with the cursor and the ball.
And I was running far away. Would I run off the world someday?